So why did I come and see Lee in the first place? Well, I'd had back trouble really since I was a teenager. This started, I was about 15, and I'd been told I could really never get rid of it. And I'd made a couple of attempts to get rid of this back pain, but it really was holding me back. And I thought, this is my last chance, because I've got a lot more potential, I've got a lot more years to go, and I'm going to give it one good last go at fixing this problem. So that's why I came. Well, my big reservation, I've got to be honest, is the money. The money's a very, very important thing to me. And I thought long and hard about it, and I thought, wait a second, if I solve my problem, that money is the least of my concerns. I've given myself a new lease on life. So what I also knew from other classes I've done and other instructors I've had is that when you pay a lot of money, it gets your attention. It also gets the instructor's attention, but basically it means you're really committed and you're not going to waste your time. So the money is a measure of how seriously you are committed to it. It is also related to what you get out of it too. But to me, this was part of my commitment. It wasn't going to go on forever. And if it worked, the benefits would I would be willing to pay that money several times over to get that benefit. So what was the process like working with Lee? That was very interesting. We had a lot of good times, but when I chose Lee, it wasn't because he was a good friend of mine. In fact, it was almost not quite the opposite. The thing is, this is not a process of, Lee's going to be my best friend and I can tell him what's going on. So I almost chose Lee because he's a very calm guy. He will tell it like it is. He's not afraid to tell you things that you don't want to hear. He's very much an authority figure. And you find that when you go to sessions with Lee, they always start and end on time, and he's always accomplished the things he wanted to accomplish during that session. So it's very, very businesslike. But having said that, I always look forward to my sessions, whether we were talking or doing some training exercises or he was assessing me. I always look forward to them and had a good time. What's the one biggest thing I've achieved? This is the most fascinating question to me, because I would say some of the most important things I've achieved are not actually the thing I went to see Lee for. The whole process is holistic, and that means you're going to get much more out of it than you ever dreamed, because you're thinking of one or two things. I was thinking about my back. I will judge the success or failure of this on whether my back is, I want to say fixed, but fixed isn't really what it's all about, because I have to fix it myself. I have to keep doing exercises and looking after my back for the rest of my life. I don't stop doing exercises now I've finished with Lee. So yes, it was the back, but more important, some really big things. I increased my happiness by a considerable amount. And to my shock and surprise, in fact, I'm almost thinking of asking for my money back, is I became a much more positive person. And I didn't even want to be a positive person. And that positiveness, it's a subconscious positiveness. I'm not thinking cheery thoughts the whole time. I just find in my everyday life, when I go around and see things or I see people, instead of a negative thought, a sarcastic, a cynical thought coming into my mind, I feel sympathy or empathy with the other person. I try to understand their position. And I'm not that kind of person, or I wasn't. So that was a great bonus, and it's really been good for me.